I'm Ed. Now, some of you may be under the impression that I am a serious historian. That's understandable. I have 3 hats to provide visual aids. The propeller hat, to let you know that all this is light-hearted and relaxed content. You may have seen them before in my video I put up on Christmas Eve 2020, the one with all those Christmas jokes. The H cap. The H stands for history and indicates sort of neutral mood content. Then of course we have the steel helmet, warning viewers of controversial or upsetting subject matter. I also have 3 rubber ducks, helping me keep track of different historical events. This duck, with a crown on, deals with great person history and history through the lens of personality or psychology. And you may have met them before, when they were helping me do the first episode of Ducking History, putting the novel A Daughter in Time through its historical paces. I was the one operating the duck, so like, yeah, that bit, you know, voicing the duck. This duck, with toolkit, hard hat and dungarees, tells us about history from the Marxist perspective. And not only that, but also the history through the perspective of economics in general. I mean, are these dungarees or overalls? Could be both. Obviously, I'm not a fashion expert. This duck, with the Romanesque attire and fork of pasta, tells history from a triumphalist perspective, and more generally handles history through the lens of nations, cultures and institutions. Oh yes. This duck, with the world map, tells us history from the subaltern perspective and handles history through lenses of gender, race and class issues. This duck, dressed like the Statue of Liberty, handles history through the lens of ideas, beliefs and ideologies. You know, how people thought and the ideas that floated around at the time. And this duck with the chocolate sunglasses and beret, and a very nice scarf, if I do say so myself, tells us history from the postmodern perspective, and generally handles history through the lens of geography, technology and situations that people find themselves in at the time of historical events occurring. And of course, we have the elephant in the room. This very nice elephant, who you may have also met in the first episode of Ducking History, basically doing the announcements. Now, they also have a purpose. I'm not going to tell you what that is yet,
because I don't want to spoil the end of Rocks to Robots the movie. So, I won't say what they do for now. Now, so you can see why this might lead people to believe that I am a serious historian. However, I'm not a serious historian. I'm not even a historian. I may have a bachelor's degree in history, but it's not like I work at an institution of history stuff or anything like that. I'm a writer. I write novels, if you like that term. I also design games, like computer games and stuff. I mean, haven't sold any yet, but I write the sort of like format for how these games are going to work. I unfortunately can't read code, so I can't do the technical side of it, but you know, the artistic direction and stuff like that. I write up stuff like that. I also do world building. I'll let you know when I start publishing. When I say designing games, I'm also working on board game designs as well. So the next question might be, so why history? This is of course a channel called Ed of History. Well, you see, history kind of works for testing out ideas, plot points generally. You know, formulating ideas and world building, what works, what doesn't. Well, we can look at equivalents in history and see, so why did this civilization develop and thrive? What was the context it lived in? The word context, very important. It'll come across a lot. You'll come across the word context a lot in this series. So, you might also be wondering, do I write historical fiction? Well, not really. I mostly write sci-fi and fantasy spoofs and cosy detective novels. However, historical knowledge is useful here as well. I mean, I talked earlier about world building and designing a fantasy or sci-fi world. It helps to know how different systems interact and which history is good at showing us how different systems interact. And even for detective novels, having some understanding of how people work and what sort of things get them to interact in what sort of ways is helpful. Learning how people converse and interact. Since I have autism, this is far less intuitive for me. I'm also dyslexic as well, which is why I'm kind of butchering a script that's right in front of me. But you know, one can but try. So that's why I find history useful to learn. To me, it's seeing how things fit together to make different conclusions. Hence why I'm launching this new series. I call it History's All Right. Just got to remember to put that on caption so it's spelled W-R-I-T-E. Anyway, in this we look at how we can write better worlds, characters, role-playing games, and generally use history to improve our literature and basically just have more fun with it. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little meetup, and I'm sure we can have lots more fun in the future. But for now, it was lovely
having you here